Help me hit 4,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. When I first walked into the restaurant that night, I could tell something was off. My girlfriend, Leora, usually greeted me with a smile that felt like the first warm day of spring, but instead she stared down at her untouched water glass as if it held all her problems. Her shoulders were tense, her jaw tight, and the moment she glanced at me, she looked away like I was a stranger she'd rather not meet. I sat down, waiting for even a small hello, but she never spoke a single word. At first, I tried to convince myself she was tired, overwhelmed, maybe stressed from work. But Leora wasn't the type to go silent without at least hinting at what was bothering her. I asked if everything was all right. She didn't nod, didn't shrug, didn't blink differently. Nothing. She just kept tracing the rim of her glass with her fingertip, the only sign she was even still present. The silence between us grew so heavy I felt like I was sitting under a collapsing roof. Her best friend, Maris, joined us 10 minutes later. Normally, Maris was a storm of jokes and loud opinions, but tonight even she was unusually quiet. She glanced at Leora, then at me, then back at Leora again as if checking whether she had permission to speak. She didn't get any. Leora just kept staring at the table, refusing to look at either of us. The air felt like it was holding its breath. Dinner came and went without a single word from her. She didn't eat. She didn't drink. She didn't even sigh. I tried everything. Gentle questions, small jokes, reminders of the weekend trip we had planned. Nothing cracked her silence. At one point I wondered if this was some kind of breakup ambush, the kind where they don't say anything because if they start talking, they'll shatter. When the waiter placed the check on the table, Leora stood up abruptly and walked toward the exit without even glancing back. I froze, confused and a little embarrassed. I reached for my wallet, but Maris suddenly put her hand over mine. Her expression wasn't annoyed or sarcastic like usual. It was nervous, almost frightened. She slid a folded note toward me. "Read this outside," she whispered. My stomach tightened. Maris wasn't dramatic. If she was spooked, something real was going on. I left the payment on the table and stepped out into the chilly night air. When I unfolded the note, I felt the ground shift under me. "Don't ask questions. Follow Leora home. She needs you." Something happened. My pulse kicked into a sprint. I spotted Leora walking quickly down the sidewalk, hugging her coat around her body like she was trying to hold herself together. When I caught up to her, she didn't look at me. She didn't speak. She simply unlocked her car, got in, and waited. I hesitated for half a second before getting into the passenger seat. The drive to her apartment was painfully quiet. She gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned pale. At every red light, I turned to her slowly, hoping she'd say something, anything, but she just stared straight ahead as if the world outside the windshield was the only thing keeping her from falling apart. When we finally reached her building, she didn't go inside. She sat in the car, breathing shallowly, trembling so slightly I almost missed it. Then, finally, after hours of silence, she whispered the smallest sentence I'd ever heard. "Come up with me, please." Her voice cracked on the last word. Inside her apartment, she collapsed onto the couch as if her strength had finally run out. I sat beside her carefully, waiting. She took several minutes to steady her breath. When she finally spoke, the words came out fragile and slow, like they had been trapped inside her for too long. "My ex. He showed up at my office today." A cold shock ran through me. She'd mentioned him before. Kai, the man who had made her life miserable 2 years ago. Controlling, manipulative, the kind of guy who acted charming in public and terrifying in private. She had worked hard to escape him. That was why she moved cities. Why she changed her number. Why she never walked home alone at night. What did he want? I asked softly. Her eyes filled with tears. She had been fighting since the moment I arrived at the restaurant. "He said he wants me back," she whispered. "He said he still owns me. He said..." She swallowed hard. "He said you were temporary, that he'd take care of that." My chest tightened with anger hotter than anything I'd felt before. Did he threaten you? She nodded once, quickly, like she didn't want to relive the moment by repeating it. I didn't talk at dinner because I was scared, she said. I didn't want to break down in public. I didn't want to ruin the night. And I didn't want you to see me like that. I took her hand gently, and only then did she look at me, really look at me, with eyes that were red and terrified and exhausted. You're not ruining anything, I murmured. You did nothing wrong. She leaned into me, her forehead pressing against my shoulder as silent tears slid down her cheeks. For the first time all night, the silence felt different. Not cold, not distant, but a release. A place where she didn't have to hold herself together anymore. After a long moment, she whispered, I didn't want him to take anything from me again, especially not you. I wrapped my arms around her, steady and certain. He's not taking anything, not this time. And for the first time that night, I felt her breathe again. A real breath, deep and shaking, as if she was finally letting the fear leave her body. Whatever came next, we would face it together.